Ooh, this is my third time trying to record this video. I legit have so many thoughts on The Shy season 6 going into season 7 and how I feel like it's very unnecessary and how I believe that The Shy has overstayed its welcome at this point. Now look, I'm a fan of The Shy. I'll be watching season 7. I know I'm already about 3 episodes behind, but I told myself I wanted to rewatch season 6 before I got into season 7 to see if I still felt the same way about the show receiving a season 7 after finishing season 6 last year when it first aired. And after rewatching, I can confirm I still feel the exact same way. There were a lot of things that happened in this season, a lot of characters that were introduced in it that lead me to believe that Lena Waithe and the staff of The Shy are out here grasping at straws to keep this show going. And it's crazy too because with all these new characters they're introducing, you would think you could probably make a spin-off series to The Shy. Speaking on all of these side stories, because I do feel like one of the biggest problems that The Shy has is one of its greatest strengths in the community that it builds within it. I like how main and lesser characters in this series sometimes have their stories interwoven and impacted by one major character, which most times is Duda. How he has a stranglehold on The Shy and how he impacts each and every one of these characters on an individual level. Well, impacted, because the nigga dead now. I'd say rest in peace, but bro is genuinely a demon. He's honestly one of the best villains I've seen on TV, I'm not gonna lie. This man is ruthless. He literally be doing shit just for the love of the game. I think the writing was on the wall really early on in the season for Duda to have died. And if he did it and somehow managed to survive going into season 7, I really would have been looking at the series mad crazy. Because there was already a whole sequence in, I believe, season 4 when Gemma first cheated on Kevin to go with Jake, where Duda got shot and managed to survive. Instead of becoming a changed man, he came back even worse than he was before he got shot, some might argue. Mind you, Duda's been relevant to the story well before that shooting in season 4 happened. My son was introduced, I think, either at the end of season 1 or into season 2. I know season 2 for a fact, because we know he had a relationship with Brandon's character. He was trying to have say in his business. Brandon ain't like what he was doing, and that's what got him up off the show. Obviously, you know the actor who played Brandon was being weird with the staff or whatever. That's neither here nor there. The point is, Duda's been around for the longest time. He is the longest running villain that The Shy has seen and the most diabolical that The Shy has seen. But seeing a character like Duda die in a series, that's a major shift for the show. Obviously, we know Nuck is the one that pulled the trigger, and it makes sense for him to be next in line to become that next Duda. Not only has Nuck been living in Duda's shadow for the longest time, doing everything he says, falling short at times from Duda's expectations, but he listens to Duda for the most part. It was only after that being he took from Duda, after Duda finds out from Brittany, that Nuck had a side hustle with Rob and Tiff about their weed business, which what was even the issue with that? I swear, Duda just wanted a level of control that was unrealistic. That's a grown man trying to provide for his family, and you beat the brakes on him because God forbid my son wants to expand into other horizons. That's diabolical. That man Duda has been running a tight ship since season 2, and we still have people on this series who are actively accepting deals from this man. I mean, in particular, is one of the saddest cases of this in this season. Like, you really accepted a deal from this man knowing what happened to Brandon. Anyway, I say all this to say, Nuck taking over Duda's spot after killing him makes a lot of sense. I believe in a series like The Shy that's so based on community, you have to plant the seeds for the next generation of people after the current generation in the series. Seeds for Nuck were planted very early on in the series, so it's no surprise to me that he ended up taking his spot after taking him out. But to then have Nuck take out Rob 5 minutes later, was that really necessary? I know some of y'all is probably gonna be like, hell yeah, it was. Now we're gonna see Alicia start to crash out in season 7. We've been waiting for this. Yeah, we have been waiting for this. We've been waiting for Alicia to slide for Q. We've been waiting for Alicia to slide for her ex-man. And now we're waiting for Alicia to slide for her son, who she's about to fuck up and sliding for. Yeah, I peeped the first couple minutes of season 7, episode 1. She's wilding for believing anything that come out this man Nuck's mouth. We've been waiting for this menace to take action. We heard from Rob himself. She make Duda look like a saint. I mean, I don't know. I haven't really seen her take any action to make her look any more diabolical than Duda. If you feel differently, feel free to say so in the comments, but I just feel like Alicia has not lived up to the potential or the reputation of her character so far. I feel like she should have been the one to take out Duda. She should have taken him out well before the second half of this season, but I digress. Killing Rob just felt like a waste because you're putting added ammunition into this character's back who should have already been charged up from jump. I don't know, to me it just seems like the show feels like it's cool to just make her character look like a laughingstock as opposed to a real life genuine threat in the series. With Rob's death, you also literally see Nuck become the person he just took out. And I know the quote around was, oh, if you kill Duda, you become the next Duda. But damn, Nuck, you don't have no other character. Obviously, in this position, you're not going to be a saint, but you really thought it was a good idea to take out Alicia's son right after killing Duda right in front of her. For her to think anybody else would have taken out Rob outside of you, you are a lucky man, because she's clearly not thinking with her brain right now. And while I do feel like Nuck is the necessary succession in the line of the Duda, the next person who's running the Shy, quote unquote, personally, if I'm watching on screen, I can't really believe that he's the guy in charge, especially with how he was moving when Alicia pulled up on him asking if he killed Rob. First of all, she was able to get to him easy as hell, but I mean, Duda has always been approachable too, if we be honest. My son just had insane plow armor. Nobody was trying to take a shot at bro. There was a couple niggas that pulled a gun on him or attempted to pull a gun on him in season 6. You got this man Nuck trying to blame Zay, his own cousin that we just find out in season 7. I don't think we know that they're cousins up until season 7. Yeah, blaming his cousin for the death of Rob when you know you're the one that killed him. I'm supposed to expect you're going to lead this old great organization. Yeah, miss me with that. I think the mystique of Nuck being the one to take it on as opposed to seeing him actually be the one to lead this organization is a lot more realistic in my opinion. I say all that though, but Nuck is definitely going to survive going into potential season 8 of this series. That's just how this show is. They don't like to get rid of no characters. Like I told y'all, Duda should have died since season 4. Instead, now y'all try to make us believe that Nuck is going to lead this organization into the future of this series. The nigga has little to no character, and the only motivation he has now is realizing that he's the father of Ronnie Jr. Let's go into another problem that I mentioned with this series just now, and that's the number of characters within it. Yeah, there's about 16, 17 heads in all 3 of these flyers for season 6. Mind you, this is not even all the flyers they made for season 6. Great promotional material, by the way. I love these posters. But of these 16 to 17 characters on these 3 posters, about 15 of these characters have major storylines in this season. And like I said, this is not even all the characters on the cast this season. Like I said earlier, a lot of these characters' storylines get interwoven because they have central characters in their lives in the series that are impacting the lives of loved ones or their own lives. So it makes sense for this shift in importance with some of these characters. When you introduce these characters that don't have no purpose in the story whatsoever, or you bring them back when they had no purpose, when they're already in the series earlier, but you bring them back just for the sake of bringing them back, just to fluff out the season, that shit is cheap to me, I'm sorry. As a Shy, I already know Dom been around probably since season 2 of this series. When Emmett first took over Smokies. I think that might even be season 3. Since season 3, her character has had no major storyline whatsoever. She was written out this series altogether for like 1.5 seasons. Just to get brought back randomly in season 6 towards the end of the season. There's about 3 more episodes left in season 6 and she just randomly comes back and does nothing. Instead, you introduce her deaf cousin who falls in love with Candy's character on the show. Another character who's been in this series since about season 4 and has done literally nothing but been by Duda's side. They keep her around for whatever reason. Like literally these two get together based off some forced ass chemistry that the show wants us to believe is real. How you go from you meeting her in Smokies, asking her to teach you sign language, to by the next episode she's just in your bed. But to make things even worse, you got her meeting up with Duda and getting a piece because she believes she needs to be your protector. And Duda's just going for that. Duda's just allowing her to grab a gun. That could mean bad business for his organization. This is a nobody character. She has no bag, no aura, respectfully. This is somebody that your ex-wife met yesterday. You willing to give him a piece? Why? You the same nigga that was telling Emmett earlier on in the season, oh, you need to know how to control your women. You need to be able to protect them and provide them homes and XYZ. But you're letting a whole woman take care of your ex, which inherently isn't a problem. Let her do what she does, whatever. But then you're giving her a piece which could come back on you and your organization later. She ends up firing at some random person later on in the season for no good reason. Lucky for her, I guess it doesn't come back on her. I feel like that's just a plot line that was just left out in the open. As a lot of storylines are on the Shy. Shocker. But yeah, that whole relationship just feel like an extreme head scratcher. It feels like Lena Waithe introduces these characters to try to give the Shy some longevity, but the storylines don't go anywhere and they make no sense. Somebody in the comments tell me right now, what is the point of Emmett having a brother? Why did they feel the need to give Emmett a brother in season 6 of this series? You just added in niggas to add in niggas when we have whole other storylines that have not been touched on. Whole characters who haven't been touched on from seasons ago that you can pull back and bring it to your series. You introduce the niggas just to keep this shit going even longer. It'll be one thing if you intertwine these storylines with other characters that are already established in the series. No, instead you're giving these new niggas new storylines that we're supposed to invest ourselves in. As if we don't have other storylines that we're trying to account for and see through to its fruition. Bad enough you gave Emmett a brother, now you got another new character that's attached to his brother. You couldn't just bring back an older character to attach to Emmett's brother. No, you have to bring in a whole new character we're gonna have to expand on in season 7. A character who is fresh out of prison looking for a job, and instead of having him work in the organization that Darnell's been trying to set up with Shaw, the writers thought it would have been a good idea to have him work at Smokies with Emmett and Emmett's brother. The one he just did a whole bid for. The jokes literally write themselves. Trust me, there's more. A lot more. His character that was introduced in this season, she's the wife of the preacher who is now taking Papa under his wing. She has this relationship with Jake. What for? These niggas is just throwing shit out the wall and praying it sticks because why does she need to have a relationship with Jake? Jake, who mind you is not doing anything in this season but selling his clothes and accepting bribes from Duda's men, who he know are not good niggas. Jake, Trick did not need to tell you that you should not have accepted that bribe from Zay. What are you doing? Actually, this relationship with the first lady is introduced in episode 13 of the season. I say all this to say I do still find the Shy very entertaining. Like I said, I'm gonna be watching season 7. But you gotta know when to let go. I feel like with Nut killing Duda, Kevin going off to California, could have ended the series or made some spinoffs for a lot of these characters who still have remaining storylines. Because I didn't even get to have half the storylines in the season. I might make a separate video just on the unnecessary storylines of The Chi. Y'all let me know if y'all need that. But that's just some of my thoughts on why I feel like The Chi season 7 is not needed. Y'all leave y'all thoughts on it in the comments.